Remember, when we come to Thailand, we see young, pretty girls.
Right.
I'm 74 years old, so if you look at a girl 20 years old that wants to have a relationship with me, I could be interested, you know. I mean, it can tickle your fancy because, you know, it's something you can't get in the States.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. Good Vibration Thailand. I hope you're doing good. So today we're going to talk about lust, love, or losses in the Thai dating game. Art and I will give you the inside story of the costs, dangers, and Thai beliefs tied to the dating game here in Thailand. So grab a beer, sit back, relax, and learn how to survive the good, the bad, and yes, the ugly part of dating here in Thailand. I had a date the other day, and if you haven't seen that video, it's over here. So go back and watch that date. But I found that date on an online dating app called Thai Friendly here in Thailand. And although a lot of the girls on that dating app are freelancers, we're going to learn about what a freelancer is and a bar girl here in this segment. She wasn't a bar girl or a freelancer. She had a job, and we went on a great date. After a couple of days, she started texting me and saying she wasn't going to be able to pay her rent. And so she implied that she wanted me to cover her costs. And I haven't even been intimate with this girl. And so I told Art this story, and he's like, hold on a second. I've heard this song and dance before. And so we started talking. It turns out Art knows a lot of information, the ins and outs of dating here in Thailand. So I wanted to have him back on the show because he seems to be a wealth of knowledge and information. So welcome back to Good Vibration Thailand, Art.
Thank you so much for having me again. I look forward to the conversation.
So let's get into it. We got a lot to cover today. So is prostitution legal here in Thailand?
Well, technically, no. It's been illegal since the 1960s.
Okay, so
and there's 100 to 400,000 sex workers in Thailand, and it's punishable up to 20 years in prison if you get caught with prostitution. Women and girls of Thailand who have entered this service as a provider for us, when we come to visit, this is how they make their living, and so it's pretty much just part of being in this part of Thailand.
So have you heard of anybody being arrested or shaken down for solicitation here in Thailand?
I have not heard a single story, but I know that through history of people that I've talked to, that there are events where Farang comes to Thailand and he's abusive to a girl, and they tie it to the prostitution law, and they could put him in jail as long as 20 years.
So 20 years for that, right?
It could be up to 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so
let's talk about, for you out there that is considering either coming here on holiday or retiring here, what is the difference between a bar girl and a freelancer, and the dangers and the costs associated with that?
Good question. Thanks for asking. Well, let's look at the freelancer first. In Pattaya, for example, there's an area we call the Coconut Bar. It's where all the coconut trees line Beach Boulevard. And the girls go out every night.
This is on Beach Road?
This is on Beach Road.
Okay.
And they go out every night and they stand underneath a coconut tree, and sometimes two, but mostly one. And you can walk down that street and you can find a girl of your choice. And she'll ask if you're interested. You'll say yes, and then you can negotiate a price for short term or long term. And you can take her to a room. Find a girl of your choice. Now, the problem with all of that is that the relationship is just between you and her. Take her to your room, maybe she's from Thai Friendly, and she'll provide a service, you'll pay her, and it can go pretty easy, but also can go pretty sour. And the reason for that is, number one, is that she may or may not have an ID and be of age. She may not be health checked, so she may have something else to offer. She may have the intent of robbing or stealing from you, or put something to make you go to sleep in your drink so that she can clean out your hotel room.
Wow.
So there's a lot of ifs that go on with a freelancer, that you have a little better source that if you get a girl from a bar or go-go bar, or from a massage place where you go upstairs, or any other service where you have a mama-san and a service that's kind of provided and protected by something. So freelancing is good because it's cheap. Remember that a lot of time you'll come here and you want to save money, and so you can get a lot of services for a lot less money. But you're taking all the risks. So there are some ways to protect yourself with a freelancer. So let's address those before we get to the bar girl.
So before we do that, Art, let's talk about what is the cost on a freelancer, right? And this is the Coconut Street. That
I call it the Coconut
I
Bar.
heard on Coconut, it's the cost is what, 1,000 baht to 1,500 baht, right?
Yeah, for short term, and then you have long term, which means you can have them overnight or for a number of hours. And there's nothing wrong with it. I've walked by and see plenty of pretty girls under the coconut trees, but just remember that you come with risk. There is disease here, by the way. Always wear protection. I'll say that again, always wear protection. The girls don't carry it with them. They don't care if you use it or not. If you stay at a hotel that has an ID, that's the safest because they'll log her in, they'll keep her ID, you'll take her to your room, it's all acceptable.
So at a hotel,
At a
you're
hotel,
saying it's better.
Well, if you
you're
do, if you take her to your hotel room.
Got it.
Make sure you're staying at one where they check IDs. When the service is done, you either walk her back down or she comes down on her own. It doesn't make any difference. But before she leaves, the hotel will check with you and make sure that everything's okay. They want to make sure you weren't beaten, robbed, or drugged. So they'll check with you before they give her ID back. If you're going to take her not to your hotel room, but to another hotel for 500 baht, which is roughly 15 bucks a night, they're a dime a dozen in Pattaya and around the state. But you also want to make sure they have an ID check there because you're only protected as long as someone knows who she is. And remember, if she's got a cell phone, she's calling people and she's in your room and you haven't done all this stuff, she could be calling someone to come to the door and knock on it to rob you. She could be calling to the police to say that you're trying to rip her off or you're trying to do something.
A freelancer
still.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not freelancers. We're talking about this is the real danger, but it's a cheap choice. Even they can be okay. Just make sure you think about ID, hotel check-in, hotel check-out, and that you're safe and always wear protection. Let's talk about the bar girl. The bar girl, the girl that works in a bar, in a go-go club, or a gentleman's club where they have services right in the building, or a massage place, those are all mama-san based. They have someone.
What is a mama-san?
Mama-san is someone that you negotiate with. You're going to take their employee away from their work. So mama-san will have a charge called a bar fine.
So is a mama-san like the bar manager?
Yeah,
over
she's the one in charge of the girls.
Okay.
So every bar has one, just about.
So in your opinion, and you would think to skip freelancers if you want a short-term experience because there's so much more risk associated
Definitely.
with a freelancer versus a mama-san situation. Let's learn a little bit. Where can you find a bar girl at?
Well, you can go down any of the soy 6, soy 7. You can go to
And this is here in Pattaya?
Town and Pattaya. You
Okay.
can go to any place and you'll see the girls are all outside. They want you to come in and buy them a drink, and they make money off the drinks. And remember, everybody's got to eat, so if you're going to go into a bar, always buy a girl a drink. Don't be a cheapskate. Buy them a drink,
So
invest
how
a
much
little
are
bit.
drinks?
150 baht, which is,
Little over $3.
Yeah, $4 roughly. So it's okay. Buy the drink, spend some time with them, talk to them. If you're interested, then you talk to the mama-san and you say, what's the bar fine? The bar fine can be anywhere 500. Some places are 750 or 1500 if you're in a really high-class place. The prettier the girl, the more the bar fine, and the more the time you're with them. Remember that.
So the cost in U.S. is what?
It can be anywhere from $9, which is 300 roughly, but anywhere from $9 to 15 up to 21 or $25, depending on the bar.
U.S.
That's just to remove them from work. Remember, they're there to work. You're taking them away from the employee, so you're paying the bar to be able to take their girl for a couple of hours. Any issues at all, you will go back to the bar, tell them you have the problem. These girls know that if a farang goes back to them, a farang is us, a guest. If we go back to the bar and we have a problem, that girl knows she's in trouble. So she is likely to provide the service, give you no hassle, no hustle, no secrets, no surprises. She'd be happy to have her ID checked. She'll be happy to come back with you, and she will have that short-term relationship with you, and then she'll move on to the next customer, whoever that happens to be.
So are they tested? They get checked up?
Some bars require the test.
Okay.
Okay. Some I don't know if the state requires it, but I know a lot of places that I've talked to, they do have the girls tested.
Okay.
Because they want you to be safe, but again, always wear protection no matter what. Even if you don't think you should, or you feel like, remember, for you it's lust. For them it's a business model. They are not looking at you for love or lust. They're looking at you as how quick can we get this done? How fast can I get my service provided to you? And how fast can I go back and continue to work? I'm making money. I'm feeding my family. That's what this is all about.
So they're looking at you for food and money, period.
Their
in this
business,
course.
strictly
Right.
business.
Got it.
How fast do we fall in love? Well, let's talk about this. The next time you go back to the same bar and you pick the same girl. Now you've taken her out twice. You're starting to show an attachment. You're back the second time. Now you go back a third time, you've got a relationship. So if you go back to the bar the fourth time and you pick a different girl, you've just embarrassed this girl and she has to save face. Because now you've insulted her, you went with her 3 times, now you no longer want her. So the rule of thumb is if you're going to play around, go from one bar one time, another bar one time, another bar one time, another bar one time, unless you're looking to stay the whole time with one girl and you want to keep seeing her. And the reason for that is that, remember, they're in Thai custom, this is their belief in this scene, is that when you take an interest in them, they will take an interest in you as if it is a longer term business than a one night deal. And so they become interested in the business model, and there's a dependency there. So you see them 3 or 4 times and you show them that you like them, they rely on that. But they see you again and you go to the same bar and you pick somebody else, or you scam them and you don't contact them. All the girls know that they've been with you. They've seen you come to their bar.
Right.
They know that you've been there several times. So again, you have to think outside the box. It's like dating, but you're paying a service rather than wondering if you're going to get it or not. You know what you're going to get, you're paying for in advance, but the girl still has a business that she's got to run. She's relying on income, and if you're showing an interest, she's going to rely on that income, and people are going to look at her and say, oh, she's got a steady boyfriend. So if you're there for a week or a month and you see her all the time, that's okay. But if that's not your intent, move on, don't make promises, don't ever embarrass her, don't ever get drunk, don't ever raise your voice. If you raise a voice at a Thai girl, whether it's a freelancer or someone in the bar, you have humiliated them in public. It's not like us getting drunk and raising our voices at a bar in the States and having a good time. If you do it in Thailand, it's humiliating to the person. Whether it's in a bar or whether it's at a 7-Eleven or whether it's with a cab driver, if you raise your voice and get mad or yell, you're insulting a Thai person. They take it very personal.
And they're always going to side on the side of the Thai person because you're in their country.
If you are loud and obnoxious in a bar, or you get, let's say you go back the second time to see the same girl and she's talking to someone else, and you go and say, wait a second, I thought you were with me. You just made a horrible mistake. She's not with you at all. She serviced you the night before. She didn't have to be with you the next night. Maybe you want her, but she doesn't have to be. So if you make a scene and you cause a fight because you've been drinking before you got there, trust me, more Thais will beat you up before the cops can ever get there, and you'll be on your own trying to defend yourself, because that person is not going to be humiliated by you in public by raising your voice and insinuating. So think about culture and then think about the risk involved. If you go with a freelancer, it's okay, but you assume all the risk yourself. The health risk, the ability to be robbed, drugged, something stolen from your place, all of those risks are involved with a freelancer, but that doesn't mean they're all bad. When you go to a bar or a massage or a go-go bar and you pay the fine to take the girl with you and you negotiate the price in advance, you are in the safest environment in Thailand you can be.
So how much more are we talking about? So you're paying a little bit more for insurance. You're insuring your safety, you're ensuring that you don't get scammed, right? Because
exactly.
There's a lot of scams out here because, as you said, everyone's got to eat, and there are certain ways to manipulate you to scare you into paying an extortion. Right.
So you have to have the common sense around you. Here's the problem with common sense. It's not very common.
Well, especially when you're thinking with another head.
You're not thinking with thinking with your brain. And then we think, and this has happened to all of us, we think the girl loves us because we're starting to feel for them. We think she's starting to feel for us, and she acts like it. They're tentative, they touch your legs, they massage your feet, they rub your neck. The things that we would think is a wholesome relationship back in our home state or home country, here is a business deal.
It's their job description.
It's their job. The more that they touch you, the more money you might pay. Now, the other rule to think of is that if the girl is a 10 plus, you're going to pay top dollar for that girl.
And what's that top dollar?
Well, it depends. If you go to a really high-class place, you can pay a bar fine of $1,500, which is $45.
Okay.
That's just to get them out of the bar. And you might pay her short time 3,000 baht.
What's short term?
Short term, 2 hours, or whenever you're done.
Okay.
You know, it depends how good she is. It might be 15 minutes for some guys, right? So you may pay 3,000, which is $90 or $100, versus you may have another girl that you can get for 1,000
On the street.
on the street,
Coconut
or
Street.
even a girl from a bar sometimes can only be 1,000 or 1,500. But when you get to 2,000, 3,000, $90, 4,000, you can get long term for 5,000 or longer term, which is a 24-hour period where they spend the night with you. But all of that you negotiate up front.
And there's a reason why you want to do that.
Because you never want the price to change. You can always tip, but you never want to, if the end is over and she says you owe me $5,000 and you say, well, the last girl was 3,000, it doesn't make any difference. Her 5,000 will win when the police officer shows up.
Well,
Because she'll call him. She does not want to get ripped off.
Or they'll threaten that they're going to call the police unless you pay them a certain amount.
So you negotiate it up front.
Right.
Now remember, if you negotiated it's 3 and then she says afterwards it's 5, you go right back to the mama-san at the bar and say, hey, listen, I paid your bar fine. I negotiated here. The girl told me 3. When we were done, she wanted 5. You have a problem. That girl does not want to lose her job. She does not want to lose face. And you, on the other hand, were very upfront about all the transaction when you were there.
Right.
So you made sure that everything was clear. And then you also have places you can go to, like massage places or there's body wash massage places, which are great, but they have, in the body wash, they have 3 categories. You walk in and there's the not so attractive girls, there's the moderately attractive girls, and then there's the 10s, and each one of those for your complete body wash, and they get the body wash with you, you get to wash each other, might be 35, 45, and 5,500 baht. So you might be spending $100, you might be spending, $120, you might be spending $150 based on the looks of the girl. And you get to pick them by a number, and everything is done inside the building, you never leave. That's 100% protected.
Right.
That's complete body wash, everything's clean, everything's scrubbed.
So you call it a body wash, but I saw online it says a soapy.
Soapy, same thing. Body wash, soapy wash.
Okay, got it. So
Soapy.
these are places established business now. Put it on a ranking of a scale, and I think that's appropriate. So a freelancer, the scale is about, as far as danger, a 9. Would you say an 8 or a 9?
8 or 9, yeah. It is.
Okay.
It's the one where you have the best chance of getting the service cheap, but you may get ripped off in doing so.
Or end up in some kind of extortion scam.
Confrontation, or someone beats you up in your room, or there's lots of things that can happen.
Or they'll call someone to come to your hotel and shake you down.
Right.
So that's that risk. So that's about an 8. So a bar girl, you would say from that risk scale, what would you give that?
Oh, I'd take it down to a 2 or 3, or it's practically 0, because
Okay.
everything is protected through the bar, basically. You have a source. When you have a source where you have taken the girl from the bar, she works for the bar, she's already been ID'd there, you see her ID, you take her to a hotel, they take her ID, everything that is in place to make it a safe, comfortable, reliable experience.
Right. So what you're saying is spend the extra $40, right, to go to a bar establishment or a soapy or a massage parlor, because you don't want to take that risk just to save $30.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
And oftentimes it's only, it goes from 1,500 to 2,000 for the girl, plus a bar fine of 700, so 2,700. So you're going to spend, 3,000 baht, which is roughly $90, versus spending 15 or 30 or 40 over here. But
Right.
remember, you're here for fun.
Right.
You're not here to get beat up.
No, or go to jail, because there is a lot of threat of going to jail.
Yeah, that happens a lot here.
So where are you with your relationship status right now?
I'm in love with everything that Thailand has to offer, and I have a particular person I really care about.
And this is a companion.
Yes.
And this is a Thai girl that's younger than you, yes?
Yes, but not much. Because I wasn't looking for someone I couldn't talk to and have an educational conversation with.
Okay.
So,
All right, well, we'll look forward to talking a little bit about the month-to-month and then the longer-term relationships, how much that costs.
and don't be so envious, because what you see costs a lot more than you can imagine.
Interested to find out how much that is. All right, guys, thanks again for joining. Please
Cup.
like the channel,
Cup. Thank
like the
you.
video, and if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe over here, guys. And thank you again for joining us. Namaste, and good vibrations here in Thailand. Thank you so much.